ready to go.
Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to be working. Today we're going to be working on a chainsaw that we picked up. Now it wouldn't start, but when I picked it up and shook it around a little, I could hear a rattling noise inside, and that told me that it might have a fuel line problem. And the gas cap was on pretty tight, which is pretty normal for a chainsaw. When I got it home and took a screwdriver and opened up the gas cap, let me show you what I found inside. Okay, now we can't say that this is the only problem this machine's got. Let's put a little light on it here so you can see inside. But if you look all the way inside there, where's she at? There it is. You can see the fuel filter just laying there all by itself. And when you look a little closer, up here you can see that's the gas line. This is the gas line for the carburetor. So let's put fuel lines in it and see what we get out of it. Okay, let's open her up and get a look inside. Now, not many people do videos of changing fuel lines in chainsaws, mostly because changing the fuel line in a chainsaw is a gigantic pain in the butt. And there goes the air cleaner. And you just won't look good doing this. It's hard to look coordinated when you do one of these. Pull the air cleaner off and get it out of the way. La la la. Okay, oh, we got one wire already off. Why are you off? Let's go ahead and reattach you and just leave you right there. Kill switch works on a short circuit. With this wire off, if it were to start, and it might have come off with the cover. But if you start it with that wire off, you won't be able to turn it off again. Okay. Yep, now I can see the fuel line right here. Let me bring you over here. Sorry about that. Fuel line's right here. So we might be able to thread something in here without taking the carburetor off and put the fuel line on. The return line looks pretty good. Doesn't look like it needs replaced, but it hasn't been soaked for so long in ethanol either. Pull the fuel line off the carburetor. I'll try to anyway. See if we can pull it back through. Okay, we'll double check the tank before we call it a day. Now let's try to pull it off the carburetor. Ugh. And a lot of times when I see something like this, the carburetor is perfectly good and there's nothing else wrong with it. And since this is a good looking saw, I'm kind of counting on that being the case here. Did it come off clean? Okay, it came off clean. So now let me dig in the magical drawer of fuel line, see if I can find something this size. That looks pretty close. Let's see how it fits. First thing we'll do is make sure it fits on the carburetor fitting correctly. Because we can we can put a different fuel filter on it if we need to. Yep, and that'll fit on there nice and snug. So we'll grab our little fishing tool. We're going to squeeze this a little bit tight. And we're doing this because we're going through a little bitty hole this time. See, it fits through, but not very well. And when it comes out the other side, we'll attach the line to it. Come on, buddy, where you at? There it is. There she goes. Now, just like with a weed eater, we'll put a taper on the line real quick. Nice thin taper. I'm usually pretty careful because I usually end up bleeding when I do these because this has a point on it. And I always end up stabbing my fingers. There you go. That should work. Now, when you pull it back through, you've got to be careful that this hook doesn't get caught on the bottom of the plastic. So you push out on the bottom when you pull it through. Ye gods, this is going too easy today. Must be my lucky day. Now, because it's a chainsaw, we're going to attach the fuel filter now and then just continue to pull through until we get to the other end. Let's get in here and see what this filter looks like. Let's see if we want to keep it or kill it. Come on, buddy. There we go. What do we got? Nah. It looks like its best days were yesterday. So let's put a new one on. That one looks all prime and brand new and ready to run. Now with the chainsaw fuel line, it's a much smaller diameter on the inside. So you really have to fight these on. Now if you're considering doing one of these, if I look pretty uncoordinated doing this, don't worry, you'll look uncoordinated when you're doing yours too. So we always say nobody does fuel line videos for a chainsaw because you just can't look good doing it. There we go. Now she's partially on. Now you just have to squeeze her in and get her snug all the way up. She's about 2/3 of the way on now. So I'm really hoping that the fuel line takes care of this because I don't know if I've got one of these carburetors sitting around. Now that we've got our fuel line on, let's go ahead and get her back together. And there's just no such thing as looking coordinated with one of these. Make sure you put the choke lever on before you put the air filter on because you got a little line here which keeps this from moving sideways, which also makes it really hard to put on if it's the last thing you do. I'm expecting good things in this one. Nice and tight. You're nice and tight. Let's double check the top one because we didn't tighten it. Always want to get everything started before we tighten anything. Yeah, let's throw a new air filter on her. Throw the cover on. Now the uncoordinated part. Getting the case lid on. Come on, buddy. Oh, look at that. She went right on. Okay, that looks to be in order. Okay, let's throw a little fuel in her and put her on the floor. Okay, now I'm hoping I don't have any big case leaks or anything. This might need a little tuning. There's just no telling. The only thing I know about this saw for sure is how much it cost me, and it had bad fuel lines. Okay, let's take her to the floor and try to start her. Okay, you got to love editing this time. We went with plan B. Take it out to the floor, get distracted, have to run outside in the rain, and go in and get changed. So let's try to get her started now. There we go. Prime her up a little bit. Got her on full choke. She tried to kick. Okay, that sounded pretty good. So we're going to turn the idle down just a touch, but other than that, we're done. She sounds okay, just like she is. Sorry about the distraction. I had to run out and get the windows up on the car and got myself pretty soaking wet. Had to put the garage door back down because it's blowing straight in. But this thing ran pretty good. It needed a new fuel line. And I do have to turn the idle down just a touch on it so the blade doesn't creep along. But she came out really nice. So we picked up a saw and it just had a bad fuel line on it. So, hey, wait a minute. I thought it was my turn. Nope, buddy, you're still not allowed to play with chainsaws. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.